Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends. This is Monday, June the 3rd, and what better way to start off a brand new week, actually the first full week of June, than with a cup of Joe.
A full cup of Joe.
A full cup of Joe. Thank you for correcting me. Joe Dillard is with us. Good to have you here.
Good to see
Joe
you,
Dillard,
Paul.
he's written a book, A Full Cup of Joe, and it's just one of the funniest things that I have read. Some of these things we can't put on the radio. I think you were on about 3 or 4 months ago, and we talked about it, but I wanted to mention that you're selling this book, and $3 of the proceeds of every book that you sell go to the American Cancer Society,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Now, the reason for that is that you are a cancer survivor. But Joe finds humor in everything. You
Yes,
do.
everything.
And I said, you came in today, I said, well, what type of cancer did you have and how was it discovered? I want you to share that story with me, will you?
Well, Paul, it started out as a hernia. And my doctor said, you have a hernia. And unfortunately, he passed away. So then I went to the
Before you had that taken care
right.
of.
So I went to the second doctor, and she said, yes, you have a hernia. We'll watch that. And a few months later, she said, that's getting bigger. I'm going to send you to a hernia repair specialist. So I went to that doctor, and he said, yes, you have a hernia. So he got his little repair kit out.
The hernia repair kit.
Hernia repair kit.
Now, were you awake at this point, or
Oh, no.
they had put you under?
Yeah.
So you're put under, and you think, okay, he's got the hernia repair kit. When I wake up, everything's going to be.
I saw 3 women, my wife and 2 daughters, in tears.
When you woke up.
Yes, and they said, you have cancer. It's not a hernia, it was lymphoma.
So what they thought was a hernia was lymphoma, and they didn't know until they started to repair that hernia.
I had a lump in my groin, and rather than it being a hernia, it was a swollen lymph node.
So what happened?
Well, I took 6 rounds of chemo, and then 2 years of follow-up type chemo.
And you were laughing the whole time.
Oh, yes, I really was.
You're laughing the whole time.
I kept really pretty upbeat the whole time, yeah. Well, I was working on this book.
Yeah, okay.
So finally, the doctor came in, and, I'm a little hard hearing. And I don't know whether he said, Joe, you're in remission, or you need a new transmission. But it's been 3 or 4 years since.
So I think he probably said, Joe, you're in remission.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so you're in remission of the cancer, which is wonderful. And you were writing this book,
Yes.
and you finished the book after you discovered that you either needed a new transmission or you were in remission.
Yes.
And you're selling it right now, giving $3 to the American Cancer Society.
And I've given him $500 so far.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So the more
The more
people
I sell, the more that cancer gets. Yeah.
Right,
Really.
right. Now, why should people buy this book?
Well, it's a fun book, and it's a good laugh, and laugh is good for you.
It is. Yes, it is.
And nowadays we can need
We
all the
can
laughs.
use as much laughter as
That's
possible.
for sure.
Yeah. You want to share some of this stuff?
Yes,
that's in here. Now, keep in mind.
I will.
It's 5 minutes to 9 in the morning.
Well, I wasn't sure. Most other books have comments about the book.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they get those because they haven't published it yet. So my comments are comments about this book that they surely would have made had they been asked.
Okay, so
Yeah.
these are comments that you knew that the people would make if they had been asked.
If they'd been asked.
Okay.
Most of them had not been asked.
Okay.
And all this time I thought you were my little angel, mother. And you'll really get the idea when you read the book. Hey, bro, one nut in the family is enough, and you are it for sure, my brother. One read program only in his mind at Columbia Public Library.
Oh, that's good. So this book, well, you wanted it to be a one-read program, and
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is it too late to be adopted, our 3 kids? Well, we are thinking about moving away, next door neighbors.
They're pretty good. Yeah. So these are all made up. These are all made up comments.
Yes, made up comments.
That people would have said if they would have been asked.
Well, my wife said, if I'd have known all this before we got married. We've been married 53 years.
Well, I would say that she's probably pretty
By
good.
the way, the last thing I had to do before I published the book was let my wife read it. And I said, if she reads it, she won't let me publish it. If I publish it, and then she reads it, she's going to kill me. So we were going to Jeff City one day, and I got the manuscript out. I said, Betty, why don't you read this? And we went along. There was a little chuckle, and then another little chuckle, and I thought, we got it made.
So you knew it was okay, but you were afraid to publish it and let her read it afterwards.
That's for sure.
Did you have a gardening story in here that you
I have a gardening story in here. We live in Jeff City, and we on the back, we had a little garden. And I had some really nice tomato plants. And I could stand and shave, and in the mirror I could admire my tomato plants. So one day I was shaving, and I saw this green stuff flying through the air, and I thought, what is that? And I looked out there, and a neighborhood kid had a stick, and he was beating my tomato plants. He got every one of them.
What did you say?
Bad words.
Oh.
And in the book it says something about, we know who the perpetrator is, and you owe us some tomato plants. But he hasn't come through yet.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that. Especially when you baby the tomatoes and you're looking out and you're shaving and there's
this big green froth in there.
And the kid's beating the tomato plants to
Beat
death.
them right off the top of the ground.
Oh, did you laugh at that?
Later.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind making fun of myself.
But it's full of stories like this.
Yeah.
It's full of stories like this.
That was labeled "What a Horrible Sight."
Okay, you got time for maybe one more story. You got one in there?
Let's see.
And then we'll make the big pitch for the...
There's some other sayings in here, and it's the punchlines first, and then...
Oh, kind of like Jeopardy? Like Jeopardy. Okay,
Jeopardy.
Why don't you give me a saying, and I'll see if I can figure out who
Joe was born, sure did hurt.
Oh, that like Jeopardy. That would be from your mom.
This is what my mom wrote in her diary the day I was born. Poor old mom.
Now, is that true?
It is true.
Okay.
Right there in the book. I got a copy of it.
All right, one more, Joe.
Okay. Let me find another there.
See, this guy likes to laugh, and if you want to laugh, the book is. Go ahead.
Another medical story. You will never find me. This is a reply to the doctor after my first colonoscopy when he said, "I'll see you in 3 years." He didn't even smile. Sure enough, 3 years later, there he was again.
Okay, if you want to read stuff like this, it's called A Full Cup of Joe. Where can they get it?
They can get it from me directly, or you can get it at the University Bookstore.
University Bookstore,
yes.
And if they see you walking down the street, you've got a satchel full of them.
I do.
And remember, $3 of proceeds go to the American Cancer Society.
Yes.
Joe Dillard, pleasure having you here. I like your philosophy of life. Thank you so much for coming by. Tomorrow, Vera Massey will be with us, University Extension. Our program directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Rich Polzine, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. If you'd like to watch this or listen to it again and hear some of Joe's stories, go to kbia.org, sign up for a vodcast or podcast. Bye-bye.